Hey, I wanted to give you an update on the city of Minneapolis, and probably not an update that you're going to get anywhere else. It has been such a good week here in terms of ministry. I've seen people coming into the Lord. I've seen someone got healed. I've seen people getting like prophetic words and everything. But the one thing I wanted to highlight today was how people are going out into the harvest. You know, Jesus talks about just the people in the world being like a harvest, people who are coming to know him, everything, and referring to his followers, to Christians, as harvest workers, as people going into the harvest field. And that's really something I've been praying about for years, for well over a decade, almost 2 decades, is just that God would send out more people into the harvest field. And that's what I've really seen here from a big picture level here in Minneapolis. Just to give you guys an idea, Saturday afternoon, we had a big relaunch of an outreach that we do every week to Uptown, which is a part of Minneapolis has a really big mix of people. It's really trendy, but it also has a lot of transit. The buses stop there. There's a few transit stations. There's also homeless encampments that are like right off the main roads. You can see them from the main areas, and it kind of takes you by surprise. But we had, I don't know, about 15 of us that went out to there and just really blanketed that whole part of the city for a couple hours out there. And then Saturday evening, I led a group of new evangelists to an area called St. Louis Park, which is actually a suburb of the Twin Cities. There were over 30 of us that went out over dinner time to different restaurants, and in the restaurant, outside the restaurants, the different seating areas, and we're sharing Jesus with people while we're out there. Our assignment was to pray with someone, and so just picturing over the 6:30 to 8 p.m. time frame on Saturday, almost everyone who went out to dinner in St. Louis Park and in parts of another suburb called Golden Valley had a chance to be prayed for. And it was super cool to see. I mean, it was like there were so many of us that went out, and all the encouraging stories that we heard afterwards. And then Monday, we had a weekly outreach to the George Floyd Memorial. That memorial is kind of winding down. There's not nearly the traffic there that there was at first, but there's still a few people that visit the area, and there's a lot that's going on in that neighborhood. And so we had a team that went out there, and I got to actually play worship music on the streets. And while I was worshiping the Lord right by the memorial, our teams went out. There were like 13 of us or so that went out kind of in different parts, different blocks in that neighborhood, talked to several ongoing contacts that we have there, prayed with people, encountered demonic stuff, but then like God was working through our being able to worship him to just counteract what I think the enemy was trying to do there. And then people were literally just coming up and like praising with us and like dancing and worshiping and stuff like that. So it was super cool. All that happening while a ton of people got to hear the gospel out there. And then Tuesday afternoon, I got to lead a group of, I don't know, a half dozen of us or so over to the Lake Street and Hiawatha area. There's a light rail station there. There's always like people we end up witnessing to before and afterwards at the light rail. And so it was like this trail of evangelism going into the light rail station and then a trail coming back. Meanwhile, everyone over the span of an hour and a half to 2 hours at this train station had a chance to hear the gospel. Tuesday night, we had an outreach that went out called Jesus Burgers. They also went to 38th in Chicago, where I went to on Monday. There's always a big group that is just blanketing that area with the gospel. Last night, another group went out near Lake Street and 4th Avenue, which is kind of near one of the main freeways here in Minneapolis, 35W. And so it's been this week of just like nonstop people from the church going out to the harvest field, going out to reach those who don't know Jesus. And so while we're all hearing a lot of the negative stuff on the news about what's going on here, and maybe just getting a whole bunch of negativity from elsewhere and hearing all the kind of the horror stories or whatnot, this is what God is doing out there. He is sending people to reach the lost. He is bringing the message of Jesus to people in like an onslaught. It has just been, it's been, I almost want to say relentless, how the church has pursued the people in this city. And so be encouraged today. Even picture, as you're hearing stuff about cities around the country and around the world, we don't know the full story of how God is turning all of the strife and turmoil into an opportunity for the church to share the gospel. And I really tend to think he's doing that, just like I'm seeing him do it here.